Good evening. It is Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023, and coming to you from Studio 1A at Lonely Tree Media headquarters in Yakima, Washington. This is the Best Slam Sports Show. You know the problem with new music is? I don't know where to stop it. I'm not
Wherever you
comfortable.
want to.
I'm not. Yeah, well, right, wherever I want to. Or just let it play in the background while we do our chitty chat, right?
Like really low.
I-
I don't think it hurts anything.
Right. I'm your host, David Lamb. With me is my son, Parker. Say hello, Parker.
Hello, Parker.
But the problem is, I can't do one
You're
without
really
the.
quiet.
I can't do one without the other. That's the problem with this.
Yeah, then don't do that.
Because there. Oh wait, they're done anyway. So screw it.
No.
All right. So yeah. So
Wacky Wednesday. Technical difficulty Wednesday.
we're having a lot of fun with audio today. So that's what we're doing. So none of this may be recorded. That's all I'm saying. I mean, there's a good chance that
No.
nobody will hear anything.
Let's not let that happen.
Formula One was in Saudi Arabia this past weekend. XFL Week 5. I know you're excited about it, so we'll talk about it a little bit. Chicago Bears traded the number 1 draft pick. What's Carolina going to do with it? That's the question. Aaron Rodgers could be a New York Jet, but does that make them a contender is the question. March Madness, full swing. NBA is heading down the home stretch. So is the NHL. We got the World Baseball Classic. I got everything. This is like the busiest. March is like the busiest month for sports all year long.
Love that.
Which is cool. We got a lot of things to talk about. Before we do anything, we're on YouTube. We're on Twitter at Lamb Sports. We're on Facebook under the Best Lamb Sports Show. You can email us lambsports@gmail.com. Please check out our webpage. You can find links to the past shows, a current trivia question on lambsports.com. We're going to do the trivia question first, just because I'm going to get it out of the way, because I always forget
Love
it.
that.
Best Lamb Sports Show trivia question brought to you by Stone Wine Estates in Hood River. The Boston Bruins are on pace to set an NHL record for points by a team in one season. They have 113 going into today. Which team holds the record for an 82-game season? And which team holds the record overall?
Just regular season?
Total number of points. Regular season. Yeah, regular season points.
Okay.
That's what we're looking for. So there's two things. There's one for an 82-game season, and there's another one for who holds the record overall. They did it before it was an 82-game season. So there you go. There's your clue. Good?
I know one of them.
Well, sweet. We're on fire. You're halfway home. First segment of the show, as always, is brought to you by The Range in Yakima. The Range is Central Washington's premier indoor shooting destination. Go on to therangellc.com. Check out the training opportunities, the special events that are going on, right? You can sign up for all those things online. The Range wants you to be a confident, empowered shooter. And most of all, they want you to be safe, right? Safety is the key there. Everything they do there is safe. The classes are designed to keep you safe. We have range officers on duty all the time to keep you safe. It is a safe place to shoot. Just want you to know you can go to the range, go to therangellc.com, sign up for training. You can sign up for special events. There's ladies' night. They did painting one night. They did a paint night. They do action shooting league, which is a fantastic way to, it's moving down range and it's changing magazines and it's multiple targets and it's the closest you'll get to actually an actual shooting environment, right? With pop-up targets and those kind of things. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, the Range in Yakima, 1701 Garrettson Lane. Phone number is 509-571-1449. Go see our friends. Make sure you mention the Best Lamb Sports Show. That's the Range, setting the standard. There you go. So, we're going to talk about the NFL first, because we can. And I want to talk about Jimmy Garoppolo, who is a Las Vegas Raider. Oh, wait, I got to go back, because I didn't stop it. There you go.
Jump the gun.
I know, right? Jimmy G, 9 years with the Patriots and 49ers. In 2019, the only season he played in all 16 regular season games, the 49ers went to the Super Bowl. Is he a starting quarterback still?
I see no reason to believe he isn't.
Okay. Is he going to get hurt again?
Probably.
Did the Raiders, is this a downgrade from Derek Carr?
No. I feel like it's kind of lateral. I
Okay.
don't feel like it changes changes their scheme much. So
Jimmy G's better looking though.
I mean, yeah, he's a better looking guy.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Derek Carr.
And Derek Carr was kind of funny looking.
Yeah, no, Derek Carr always looks like he has eyeliner on.
Right. That's kind of the big Derek Carr knock.
I guess.
What you do
Anyway,
with all that eyeliner?
I mean, not that it's a bad thing. It's just kind of weird looking. Yeah, and Derek Carr is, of course, in New Orleans, so he's just, New Orleans. I think is a great place for him. I think that's going to be a good move. But Jimmy G is a really good quarterback. His stats are good. I just don't know that he's. I mean, he's got to stay healthy.
That's a big deal.
And then he'll give you a chance to win, but he just moved into a really really tough division.
Yeah, that's a. I mean,
Yeah.
well, the Chargers routinely miss the playoffs, and
It's true.
the Broncos were down, so it's really just it's tough because you can't beat the Chiefs.
Well, that's true too. The Chiefs are
Yeah,
going to be
that's too difficult of a team
hard
to
beat.
compete with week in and week out.
Yep.
And they're close, so we share fan base.
Yeah, it's true. Good point. So anyway, there's Jimmy G. I don't know. The jury's going to be out. We'll see how the Las Vegas Raiders do with Jimmy G in the lineup. Everybody's changing. All these teams are changing so much. You know what I mean? There's key players leaving and going to new places, and it didn't used to be like that back in the day. So it's kind of weird for me when I watch these things and I go, all the teams change. Every team changes every year. Not very many teams just stay the same. Anyway, except maybe Kansas City, but even their lineup changes, right?
Hey,
So, Eric Kendricks is a Charger. The former Minnesota Viking averaged 140 tackles per season over the last 2 years. He's going to help replace Drew Tranquill, who the Chargers lost to Kansas City Chiefs in free agency. You're basically changing one tackler for another. Did I lose you? I feel like I lost you. And I did. You're gone. Alrighty then. So, I'm going to keep moving along. Maybe you can hear me. Maybe you can't. So, did this last week, so we're good. All right. Next. This is the kind of stuff that I just don't understand. The audio stuff, the technical stuff. Haven't figured it out yet. So, anyway, we're waiting for Parker to come back. So that's kind of what we're doing. So we'll see what happens, and maybe he's back on. Maybe he'll come back up. There he is. You back?
I'm back.
Oh, good. I don't know what happened, but
I heard you the entire time.
That's
You
awesome.
just stopped being able to hear me. It was wild.
That was weird. See?
The concerns about working remote and doing too much.
Yeah.
And you never know if is it my service? Is it your
Right.
service?
Right.
Is it my old computer? Like, what's happening here?
Right. But we're good.
So,
We're back.
yeah,
So
we're back. But yeah, I heard you talking about Eric Kendricks.
Yeah.
I think that's a terrible decision. I mean, you have to replace Drew Tranquill, and I don't think you should have ever let him walk. It was the dumbest thing you could have possibly done. And you gave him to a team in your division who is going to absolutely abuse you with him. So,
yeah, I don't know.
Kendricks kind of fills the gap, but he's not going to do a very good job at it. Like, he's not going to do as good a job as Drew Tranquill did.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I guess that remains to be seen. We'll find out. But yeah, I agree with giving him up to this person in your division. You don't.
That's so crazy.
The free agency is a weird thing in that in the old days, the rule was it was just trades. There wasn't free agency as much. You know what I mean? You never traded a guy to a team in your division because you didn't want him to come back and beat you.
Yes, the glory days.
Back in the glory days. But now it's free agency. You can't really control it. You know what I mean?
It's a player-driven league. It's their call where they want to go, and they've made efforts to empower players and their decisions.
He wants to win a title. Go to Kansas City. I get it. I'm smart. You know what I mean?
Why? Yeah, I say why wouldn't you?
Right. That's a good
especially
move.
if you think you can make their team better, because he will. He'll make their linebacking.
Sure.
It's not like he's just going to get carried to one. He's going to contribute, and because he's great.
Yeah.
I remember when he's not on his rookie deal. I think he's been a free agent once before. He was close to becoming, and they extended him.
Mm-hmm.
But I was hoping they wouldn't, so that I wanted the Broncos to take him because I thought he would have complemented Von Miller and everyone else very well back in the day. But he never came available, and now instead he's going to beat my team up.
You know, the other person that was available, by the way, was Bobby Wagner.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe the Chargers would make a deal for Bobby Wagner. Eric Kendricks is a little bit younger, I guess. So maybe. I don't know.
Is Bobby got a team yet?
No, not yet. But why? Here's my question: is the Rams? they had a 5-year deal, $50 million, and they got rid of him after 1 year, which is weird to me. I mean, Bobby Wagner, he had a down year last year. He wasn't nearly as good as he had been.
That whole team was
the
terrible.
whole team was terrible. Yeah,
Every
part
fault. Of the team.
Yeah, no,
like they were still in a lot of games.
Yeah,
but that whole entire team struggled last year. Injuries and health issues. And Bobby, again, he had a bad year, but when the rest of your team isn't performing, just run into those guys.
Yeah.
And now your stats don't look great, right? Like we were talking off air about like, how stats can give a misleading picture of a season.
Sure.
And why there isn't a player rating for each position, like wide receiver rating and whatnot. This is exactly one of those times. Bobby Wagner's, all of his stats were down, but I guarantee you he wasn't any less impactful when it came his way.
Right.
I mean, I watched him get 2 picks against the Broncos.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's a great player still. I mean, I would take him on my team. Is he enough to replace a Drew Tranquill? Drew Tranquill had a great last couple of years with the Chargers, so I don't know.
He is not even close to being enough.
Right. So there may not be a guy to replace.
Tranquill is a much better coverage linebacker than Bobby Wagner.
Yeah.
And the way teams are going with mobile quarterbacks and that, especially in that division with Russell Wilson and Jimmy G is going to stay in the pocket, but the other 3 quarterbacks, you need to be able to cover that little flat area. I mean, think about like the best players like on the Chiefs, like most of their passes are across the middle of the field, like a Travis Kelce or to a crossing, Mecole Hardman. So having a linebacker over there who can play zone coverage across the middle is incredible.
And we'll talk about Mecole Hardman in a minute. So Baker Mayfield on the move again. He's the new Tom Brady. You heard it here first. In so much as he's wearing a Tampa Bay uniform and playing quarterback. He's on his 4th team in his last 4 seasons. Is Baker Mayfield an NFL quarterback?
Yes.
Okay. Does he just need a spot, the right spot?
Yeah, I think he suffers from the same thing that, you and I have talked about this because we're both big Marcus Mariota fans. I think he suffers from the same problem that Marcus had, which is that he couldn't find a home that wanted to work with him, like really work with him. Like you always got the feeling that the Browns were never fully in on Baker.
Right.
Like he was there and that's our quarterback for now. Like it just kind of seemed like that was the attitude that the Browns had on him because anytime things went sideways, they kind of tossed him under the bus.
Yeah.
They never really seemed like they had his back or like were fully there for him. So with that in mind, I doubt they ever fully crafted the system around him.
Right.
And when he was good, when he was playing well, it was great. He started getting injuries and things like that, which I think kind of steered his career off the tracks. And then he goes to Carolina and he goes to a quarterback battle. Again, does the team really have your back here?
Right.
Like it was just kind of a tough situation to just walk into. And he won the starting job. And then he lost it.
And then he lost it.
Because he had a bad game and they're like, well, get this guy out of here. Because they know because you don't really win it. He's never gone a place that has his back. He's not really at one now. I don't think Tampa's just going to sit and wait for him to, develop. I don't think they're going to craft a system around him. I don't think it's going to be like that. So I think he's still going to struggle because he's never going to find that home.
Oops.
That really wants to give him things. A little background music.
A little extra music. I mean, we just do it through the whole show.
Nothing wrong with it. So,
do you think this move is Tampa's move? I mean, do you think that is Baker going to be the starting quarterback at Tampa next season?
I think that Tampa is banking on the fact that the Panthers are going to take a step up, that the Saints are going to take a big step up, and Atlanta, they're going to kind of tread water. I don't know what Atlanta thinks they're doing at quarterback.
Yeah, no idea.
Desmond Ridder ain't it. So,
no.
So I think that they're planning on being the 3rd best team in that division, and this is the move for now. This is good enough. He doesn't cost too much. We can have him here while we either tank and try and find our future quarterback, because next year's quarterback draft is stacked.
Yeah,
there are loads of quarterbacks next year. So
I don't know.
You're just kind of floating the boat for now. But what, he signed a 3-year deal? Is that right?
Mayfield?
Yeah. Or was it a single year?
Holy crap! Now you're gonna have me looking up other stuff. I don't have it right in front of me.
I thought it was a 3-year deal, and that's what I was kind of shocked about. Is that that's a good amount of time if that's what it was.
It is
3 years.
Hold on. No, I mean it's a good amount of time.
Oh no, it's a 1-year contract.
Right. There you go.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting to it.
Yeah. See, now it's tracking. We're gonna sign him for 1 year. We're gonna pay him $2 million salary.
Right.
We're gonna give him a $2 million roster bonus if he's still around.
around.
They're just treading water, either until they can make a trade, or until they can start tanking and draft somebody. Because you got nothing to lose, really. You just won a Super Bowl fairly recently, so you can afford to play around with the fact that he could be okay for a season. Maybe you make the playoffs, or maybe you make some noise, or maybe you don't, and you put yourself in a good draft position. You don't have a quarterback that costs you that much money.
Right.
So
I'm sitting here looking at his stats from last year, and they're not. I mean, they're not any kind of impressive. But still, here's the question that pops into mind. He got traded in the middle of the season, right?
Right.
To the Rams. I wonder if there's been a quarterback that's been traded mid-season and has beaten one team twice in the same season. Right? Because he didn't play the same teams once he got to the Rams.
Oh, that's a good point. So he played the Falcons in week whatever, and then he got traded to the Rams, who played the Falcons in week 18.
Right.
That's interesting.
I'm gonna have to look that. That's gonna be next week's trivia question.
They have to throw their whole scouting report out the window because they've seen me twice, but on 2 different offenses.
Yeah, he's already seen us. We can't do that again.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's interesting.
I never.
Or if somebody's played him 3 times, 2 early season divisional games.
Right? Yeah.
And then one you get traded in mid-season, then
or
one
even a playoff game
for the next team. Yeah, or a playoff. That's interesting.
I
don't know how many teams. There's a different question. How many teams are trading for a quarterback mid-season who then make the playoffs?
Well, we're gonna have about the next 10 weeks of trivia questions covered here. So, it's good though. No, I just
all these down.
I'm sitting here looking at it. I'm like, he played. He literally when he was with Carolina, right?
Yeah.
They played. He's Cleveland, right? That was that first game, and then the Giants, and then New Orleans, Arizona, San Francisco, Cincinnati, Baltimore, and then he got traded. Right, to the Rams, who ended up playing all of the AFC West: Las Vegas, Green Bay, Denver, the Chargers, and then Seattle. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, what if somebody got traded and they played the same team, and maybe they played the same team twice on 2 different teams, or you said 3 times? That'd be kind of interesting. Wouldn't that be cool? It's probably happened, but I just don't know who it is. So we're gonna have to find out. So
that's another thing. He has never had a negative touchdown interception ratio.
No.
Never. Not once in his career. He was 50% at Carolina, but he was 4-2 with the Rams. So that puts him at 10-8 on the year.
Yeah, 6.
He's never had a negative.
Well, he was 6-6 with Carolina for that first.
6-6, yeah. And
6
he was 4-2.
Still good though.
But I know Peyton Manning had years where he threw more picks than touchdowns.
And
I know Tom Brady's done it before.
And I'm sitting here looking at November the 6th, he played Cincinnati, right? When he was with Carolina, right? Mm-hmm. 14 of 20, 155 yards, 2 touchdowns. It's a QBR of 81.8. Any quarterback in the league will take that.
Yeah, it's
right.
A good day.
They lost by 21 points. I mean, it wasn't even competitive. They lost
be able to run the ball.
He only threw for 155 yards. It wasn't like they did a crap ton of stuff, but he was efficient,
And he did what he did, and he did it fine.
Right. He's got another game against Denver where they scored 51. The Rams scores 51 against Denver, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's got a QBR of 86.2, right? But his QBR for the season is 24.5. So that's going to tell you a little something there.
Again, the stats can lead you whichever way you want them to, but the whole picture will kind of expose.
Exactly. It'll all average out, right?
I think he's good enough to be an NFL starting quarterback if he found that right system, but so many guys never do.
He was sacked 36 times last year. This is just as a side.
He was sacked 36 times last year across 2 teams.
He was sacked 36 times in 12 games. He only played 12 games. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3.
Sacked 3 times a game.
6 times. Hold on. 6 times last year out of 12 games, he was sacked 4 or more times. Right? And
good.
And after he got traded to LA, right?
Yeah.
17 of those sacks were in LA in 5 games. That's how bad the Rams were.
So but if this is this a trend? I'm not that we should talk about Baker Mayfield for like 6 hours, but
well, we're
is
in
this a trend that is across his entire career? Does he always have a ton of sacks? Because if he has sacks year after year, different team after different team, then it stands to reason he might be holding the ball too long.
I'm just gonna say January 3rd of 2022, right at the end of the 2021 season, he was sacked 9 times by the Steelers.
Jeez
Louise. The week before against Green Bay, 5 times by the Packers. So yeah, he got sacked 43 times in 21.
I mean, his sack percentage last year was the highest it's ever been at 9.7.
It's true. It has been going up.
9.3 the year before.
Right.
Yeah. So either he's holding the ball longer,
but he
should, and it's getting worse.
And let's back up because in 2019, 40 sacks. In 2018, 20. So he's gotten over 40 sacks like 3 times in his career. Well, it's only 36 last year, but whatever. Man. Yeah, I mean, clearly he's running into some bad lucks. But in 2018, his first year in the league, right? 2018, he had 3 consecutive games where he got sacked 5 times.
And I've watched him extend plays, so I know that he is the kind of guy who he wants to throw the ball. He does not run that often.
No, he scrambles to throw.
He rolls out. Yeah, he scrambles to throw. And I've seen him get tackled quite a few times on the scramble to throw.
Right.
So I think it's a combination of. But again, if the team isn't trying to build around you and put agile linemen around you, then as soon as you start to break the pocket, you've got defensive tackles and edge rushers and linebackers on your ass.
We could talk forever about former Oklahoma standout Baker Mayfield.
Oh my gosh, I have so many thoughts on Baker Mayfield.
We're gonna have to hold on to those.
So we'll save that for our Baker Mayfield special.
Yeah,
our Sooner special.
You know what? It's not a terrible idea just to do like one team and just throw it out there. see what we. Let's talk about Alan Lazard, who is now a New York Jet. And this is a precursor to the things that apparently Aaron Rodgers said he would need to become.
That he said he wanted. Yeah.
He said he wanted. Yeah. Also, they picked up Mecole Hardman. The Jets did. So
they have Corey Davis, Mecole Hardman, Alan Lazard, and they have another young receiver.
I believe you're saying it right.
A young running back who's pretty good.
I believe you're talking.
Wow.
I believe you're saying exactly what I'm saying.
And Sauce Gardner on defense.
Right.
That team.
I mean, right?
So this is what people are gonna say, right? Is like they have everything. If it doesn't work, it's Rodgers' fault.
It's right. Yeah, that's the thing. Is they're setting him up for failure.
They're setting him up for failure if it doesn't go perfectly well. Because the Broncos said the same thing. Like, we got this, we got Wilson. That. You got everything you need. Wow. Thank you, Russ. Come in. Now we're a 12-win team for sure.
Danger, Russ, my butt. Anyway.
Danger.
Let's ride. I don't know. So I don't know. I mean,
so bad. All right, it's a quick side note. We've never addressed that. I felt so bad for him for that.
I know
because I've watched people shoot promo things for PSU, and I had to watch one of our basketball players, Brandon Rummel, stand in a little room in front of a camera saying, "Get loud, get loud." Like 5-12 times, doing different hand things. I can't hear you.
For in the stadium.
And it looks so embarrassing in an empty room with just a couple people filming you. So I think about that every time I think about that. He's doing this promo video where he has to say, "Let's ride."
Let's ride.
40 different times in different ways, just that way they can put something on a Jumbotron at halftime. And it became his identity for a year.
Yeah.
But I love that he leaned into it.
And everybody teased the crap out of him. You know what I mean? After they started losing, it was like, let's ride, Russ.
I love that he leaned into it. I mean, every time he would end a press conference, after that, he'd start going, "Let's ride."
Yeah, I mean, you might as well. I mean,
he seems like he's got a pretty good sense of humor about the entire thing.
He does,
but that's a side note.
And I don't think all of it's his fault, but we'll talk about Russ Wilson later. We'll talk about all that stuff. But I don't think all of that is all his fault. I mean, Denver just wasn't right at the time.
Something wasn't going.
Something wasn't right. Yeah. But anyway, so they're setting up. The Jets are setting up to get Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
They haven't made the deal yet. I don't know what that's going to require, and I don't know what the Packers are going to ask for to get him. But
17 first rounders.
It might be a stretch, but
I would never.
I think 2 or 3, 2 first rounders, and maybe a later pick.
But if you believe that the Russ Wilson trade, when again talking about him, was three first rounders.
Yeah.
And 3 second rounders.
Then you gotta think Rodgers.
Then
worth
you'd
more.
have to think that Rodgers is either worth more or the same.
Right.
But now people view that as not a good trade for the Broncos.
Okay, so if you had to take one of those two quarterbacks to be your quarterback on your team, right? Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, right today, which one are you taking?
Oh, that's so difficult.
Right?
I think I would stay with Russ only because Rodgers, I don't think Rodgers did bad last year. I think Rodgers is just capped. I think he can only do so much anymore. Whereas last year you saw once there was an offensive coordinator change and a coaching change, Russell Wilson's game opened up.
Yeah.
Which kind of told you that they were keeping a lid on it. Probably not intentionally. They didn't realize they were stifling it, but they were.
Right.
And so I think within that, I saw games where Russell Wilson went off against good. We played the Chargers twice and lost by 3 points both times. Russell Wilson went off in those games.
Right.
So I think I'm sticking with Russ because I've seen that he can still put up 35, 38-point games.
Okay.
With the right coaching and the right play calling. But Rodgers feels like he struggles sometimes to even get like 21 points in a game.
But some of that was, I think that the players he had around him were not very good either.
Yeah, and he lost Nathaniel Hackett, which is not great. But there were plenty of times where it seemed like he would rather huck the ball in the dirt and walk to the bench than make the play. And we're talking. He's at a point in his career where you're thinking longevity, not
right.
Not you're thinking about quantity, not quality. You need years.
About halfway through that season, he was looking forward to that darkness retreat.
So that darkness retreat sounds great.
Got to go.
I would go insane. I have tinnitus. I
could not do it. I could not do it. Kudos to him because I could not be in a
I could do a darkness retreat that is basically a room like that, a place like that, but like with some video games in it.
It's not as dark that way.
I could play video games for 4 days straight.
Well, no, absolutely. Any guy.
Think he went outside at all, like to go for a walk?
No, but I think any guy could probably do. Oh, hold on. We got.
I hear him.
Yeah, we got a technical glitch here. Hold on.
Oh, that must be, for those of you listening at home, that is wonderful Sky Dog. He is a sweetheart, and he likes to talk.
Yeah, so, waterboard meeting this evening. So, not waterboarding. When I say waterboard, it starts to sound weird. But there was a waterboard meeting, and, of course, someone in the house is a waterboard member. So
what is the waterboard?
Yeah.
Had a meeting?
Yeah, the water board for our local water. We have a local water
because it's a well,
district.
Right?
Yeah, it's a well.
And so, what do they talk about? Like, has everyone got water? Good. We all still good with water?
You would think it would be that easy, right?
I'm kidding. What are they arguing about?
So they're not really arguing, but what they've got going on is things like the fact that the state is going to require everyone to have meter readings. We don't have meter readings right now. It's
really?
just you pay X amount and you get water as much as you want.
Nice.
Yeah.
It sounds like you guys have been gaming the system that everyone else has been losing for a while.
But we have a well. We don't have to. We're not getting it from anybody else. We're self-contained.
But now they need meter readings.
Well, now the state wants you to have meter readings, right? And so meter readings, which are fine, and everyone here has a meter, except there's like a couple of houses that one of our neighbors has said that, I never got a meter, even though we're pretty sure one was put in.
Check it out.
Because he doesn't want to have a meter reading and have to start paying more because he uses a lot of water.
Well, so is that directly what it's going to link to? Like they'll come out and start reading the meters, and that'll change how you're being paid?
Correct.
Or is this just how they're going to start compiling information for
a
while?
I think first it's going to be just information, but I think eventually it's going to be usage based. Because right now
it's unreasonable.
Well, that's normal for most water places.
Yeah, because you guys might not use as much as the business across the street. So
right.
You should pay a bigger share of that.
And I have a hot tub, and I do fill it.
Can I get a hot tub?
But I don't fill it every day, so it's not like I'm using 300 gallons of water every day.
Yeah. And we're going to tie all of this back to Aaron Rodgers in 3 seconds.
Yeah. So that's why I went with a hot tub.
So Aaron Rodgers was just at your front door.
And that's why my dog went crazy.
Big Packers.
You guys want some insider information? We got it right here. He'll be on in just a minute. So anyway, the Jets are making the moves to get Aaron Rodgers. I don't know what the deal is going to be when they do it, but I feel like that's inevitable. He's going to be
Yeah.
a New York Jet. Are the Jets, with the addition of Lazard, Mecole Hardman, and Aaron Rodgers, are the Jets now that team in the AFC East? You still got the Bills,
Yeah.
and if the Dolphins could figure out how to keep a quarterback upright, the Dolphins are good too.
I don't think they're that team until that team is assembled. At least until it's assembled,
Well,
right?
that's true.
Like, but assuming they get the addition, they become an instant threat. Like, I can't wait to see ESPN flex 30 Jets games
right.
to prime time.
Well,
So,
they're gonna watch. Every Jets Bills game now is a thing, right? There's two of those, and then right.
yeah.
Anyway, I
do think they become dangerous though.
Right now, they're just a bunch of good wide receivers and Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Oh my gosh, I feel bad for Zach Wilson.
I do too, because
this team just drafted you
just
the other
drafted
day, and you were the future of the team, and then they benched you
right
instead of trying to progress. I don't know.
I don't even understand, because I think he's a pretty good quarterback. I don't think he's bad. I
don't think he's good. Like, I think he's better than like your Desmond Ritters or the other guy who went to Tennessee, whatever his name was. But I think he's better than some of the other really young guys out there. But he's not nearly as good or as capable as some of the other guys out there as well.
But I don't think he gets a lot of credit, because
bless you.
All kinds of stuff going on here tonight. That was out of nowhere. I didn't even have time to hit the button. Zach Wilson, his completion percentage, not great. But he, and his yardage. I mean, he got hurt, so there was that. He played in He played in 9 football games last year.
Well, he got hurt, and then they won a game or two, and then they were like, "All right, well, I know you're healthy, but we're just gonna keep you on the bench."
And so what happened was you had Joe Flacco, right? Joe Flacco. I don't know, and Joe Flacco's a capable backup too, but I mean, it's just, I don't know. Zach Wilson had 6 touchdowns, 7 interceptions last year. Not great. In 21, he had 9 touchdowns and 11 interceptions.
Yeah, but he went to a garbage organization.
He did. Absolutely. And the Jets were 3 and 13, 3 and whatever in the year before.
Right. Yeah.
So, I think it's going to take more than just Aaron Rodgers, Alan Lazard, and Mecole Hardman. I think you're going to need more to get there. But the Jets started out last year like gangbusters and then just faded like they were just nothing. So that was interesting. Anyway, there's that. We'll talk more about Aaron Rodgers when and if we get the opportunity to.
Yeah.
And they trade him, because they may not.
If anything happens.
Right. Yeah. Oh, there he is. Look at that. There's a good picture of former Cal quarterback Aaron Rodgers. Marcus Mariota is a Philadelphia Eagle.
Good for him.
Yeah, right. Former Oregon Duck and Heisman Trophy winner. He's going to be in Philadelphia next season. He's going to back up Jalen Hurts. But a mobile quarterback to back up a mobile quarterback is probably a great idea. I mean, let's just be honest, right? You don't have to change nothing when he comes in. This is going to be Mariota's 4th team in 5 seasons. So he's been around the block. One of those seasons, he only played 1 game for the Raiders, and then he got hurt. So there was that. But I think he also didn't get a great opportunity when he moved. When Tennessee drafted him, he didn't get an opportunity to play in his kind of an offense, what he needed around him. They had Derrick Henry. They want to run. That was the know. So it kind of made it hard for him to be.
He also went through 4 freaking coaches.
It's true. Coaches change every year, so
every single year until they settled on Mike Vrabel, Mr. Put it in the trenches,
Mr. Conservative.
Yeah, Mr. Conservative.
So also, Cam Newton threw at Auburn Pro Day yesterday.
Yeah.
Apparently trying to show scouts that he can still play quarterback. Newton did not play last season, and he has let's call it a history of I don't want to say attitude, or there's a thing, there's a stigma about Cam Newton at the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something there that you go, I'm not sure that I want him, no matter how good he is or could be, just because of the way he is. And I'm not sure it's fair, but I'm just saying it's out there because of the last couple of years, 3 or 4 years. You just go, I don't know. Would you take him on your team? Yeah, good. I lost you again. It's perfect. It's the best ever. Best
Oh,
show
no,
ever.
sorry. You did not lose me.
Oh, okay.
I accidentally hit the space bar while I was trying to hit enter to look something up, which is the mute button
The
when
mute
the
button.
little mini thing is up that I told
Got
you
it.
to close, which
Sweet.
I didn't close because I called you back. Hazels. I would possibly take Cam Newton. There's no guarantee behind it. The problem is that I wouldn't use him how he wants to be used.
Right.
Cam Newton would come to my team, and he'd run Wildcats for me. He'd run distraction plays. He'd go very Marcus Mariota style where, like, you'd spread him out wide,
Right.
and then you do a dip-off play, and then he throws a bomb downfield. I'd use him in a lot of ways. I'd use him at tight end.
He's big and strong.
I would do a bunch of different things with Cam Newton. I would do a double flea flicker where I pitch it to Cam Newton, and then I run back, and then he pitches it back to me.
Right.
And you have to defend not only the pitch to Cam Newton, which is a pass or a run, but then the pitch back to me, which is a pass or a run.
Right.
So,
yeah,
I don't know. I would use him in a lot of interesting ways, but he would not be my like QB1 go-to guy. That being said, I agree with what he said. There ain't 32 quarterbacks better than him.
You're probably right. And the only
Zach Wilson, for a great example, is not better than him.
And because he's an Auburn alum and because his brother played at Auburn, that's why he's there throwing for the Auburn Pro Day.
Might as well. I mean, and it's good for Auburn to have him there.
Oh, absolutely. It's good publicity because, everybody came. All the media was there, so.
Yeah, it got eyes on their program. It was something to talk about. I think he'll get a contract. I just don't think it'll be what he wants.
He hasn't quite sunk into that Colin Kaepernick black hole yet?
Not quite. But being fair, over his last 4 years in the NFL, he never had a winning record. 6-8, 0-2, 7-8, 0-5.
Do you think Colin Kaepernick could still play?
Yeah.
Do you think he should be? Are there 30 quarterbacks better than Colin Kaepernick?
No.
You just look around the league and you go, man, there's a lot of thin talent. And that's why, and so that was what I was going to talk about. And we haven't really talked about it yet, but we were talking about the fact that the Bears traded their number 1 pick, right, to Carolina.
Right.
Is Carolina going to draft Bryce Young? That's the question, right? Because
I think you have to.
I think you have to, but he's 4'7". So
I think that Richardson might be a more interesting prospect, considering you have a history in this program with these mobile dual threat quarterbacks from the South.
Yeah, I don't know that Bryce Young is going to be a great NFL quarterback. I'm not sold that that's happening. They say that size isn't an issue. I think size is an issue. I honestly do. I think that in this league, if you're fast and big and strong, you are in better shape than if you're small, right? And strong. Yeah. Just gonna say, Kyler Murray is super fast and super mobile, right?
Yeah.
He's also seems to be a head case a little bit. So
yeah, and I don't think Bryce Young's quite got those problems.
No,
I mean,
but not
there
yet.
was durability questions about Tua.
Sure.
Before he got to the league, and then he got to the league, and that has done nothing but exacerbate.
Right.
Like it's more questions and more questions. So
it's interesting.
I think it's going to be the same deal.
Okay.
I think that Bryce Young, if he goes to the right place, will be just fine.
But is Carolina the right place?
No.
See, that's the problem, is that Carolina is going to draft him and shove him in the starting lineup because he's better than Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you got?
I think like a Seattle would be a good place for him to go. If he falls to 5th.
If you want to see those kind of quarterbacks succeed, and there aren't many of them that you can just grab from the draft and plug them in next year and they're good. There are not many.
Yeah.
They're few and far between. Justin Herbert, let's be honest, probably the last good example of that. We plugged him in and he's great. You win Rookie of the Year as a quarterback, you're the guy, right? So yeah, there aren't many of those. It just doesn't happen. So it hasn't happened recently. It's just been one of those things where I think the a rookie quarterback needs that time to develop. He needs time to watch and see what happens and watch another quarterback do what he does and learn.
Right.
And not many guys can just step in and fill the gap. But maybe Bryce Young is the guy. Maybe C.J. Stroud is that guy. Maybe Richardson, like you say, he's an interesting quarterback. I don't know if any of these guys are that guy, but it would be interesting to watch.
I think C.J. Stroud has more upside than Bryce Young.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think Anthony Richardson could be your biggest payoff / gamble. Like I think he could be, he
risk
could be the best choice there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think if you're Seattle and Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud fall to you, you take them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't care that you just signed Geno.
Yeah,
you take one of those guys.
Geno's now your overpaid backup.
Geno's now your overpaid. Well, I don't know if he's
Because they're going to start
backup.
him. They're going to start whoever it is.
Well, they absolutely are. I just don't know what's going to. I don't know what's going to happen with him. Like, I don't know. Is he going to continue this crazy pace, this whole I didn't write back type attitude? Like, or now that he got his contract, is there no more question about him?
Right.
Like, is he going to relax a little bit? I don't know.
All right.
Still not sure.
We got a lot of things to move through. Let's move forward. We'll talk more about NFL as we go. I mean, we got what?
We have a lot of time.
6 months before.
A couple weeks before the draft.
Yeah. We got more things going on.
We'll
know a lot more after the draft happens too. So, real quickly, XFL Week 5, Seattle. Why are my pictures always out of order? That's my question. This is the Arlington Renegades. This is not even the Arlington Renegades. That's the Houston Roughnecks. Got even the wrong pictures. I don't even know what's going on. There's your Sea Dragons. There's your Sea Dragons. I mean, it's just that kind of night. Sea Dragons handed the Roughnecks their first loss of the season, 21-14, despite Ben DiNucci throwing 3 interceptions.
Good old Ben DiNucci.
I don't know. So DC Defenders 28, the St. Louis Battlehawks 20. Abram Smith had 23 carries for 218 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's a good day no matter what league you're playing in. Yeah, because other guys can tackle. So that was a big deal. That was like the best thing I've seen in the XFL this year. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that. Also, I feel like some of this is from last week, but there's the brawl. No, that's the brawl that happened during the middle of the Defenders Battlehawks game, right in the corner down here, and then also the beer snake, which was gigantic. It's like a big deal. And then we had the lemons. We talked about that last week, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, Vipers. See, this is last week's pictures. I don't know how they got on here. I don't know why the new pictures are on here. I don't even have them. So one of those is new, and the rest of them are garbage. Anyway, Vegas Vipers 35, the Orlando Guardians 32. Vegas got their first win of the year at the expense of the winless Guardians behind quarterback Luis Perez's 33 touchdown passes. And the Renegades 12, the San Antonio Brahmas 10. And that was probably the most boring football game. 1 second half touchdown in that game. I cannot be interested in the XFL. It has not done anything to make me excited about it yet.
I don't think it's going to.
I
don't think the quality is any or much worse. I think it's more exciting than a college football game, like in terms of like talent.
Yeah.
I think it's faster than a college football game and things like that, but I think it's just not as well crafted as an NFL game. So I just think it's a tweener where if you're deciding where am I going to put my football allegiances, because that's what your brain wants to do is pick one. Mm-hmm. It's not going to pick that.
Right.
So
yeah,
I just think that's how it's going to be. Unfortunately, I don't think it's ever going to get the traction it really wants until it really manages to affiliate itself with the NFL.
Well,
they would be better off if it was the Denver Broncos affiliate San Antonio Broncos.
Well, that would be interesting.
Like if it was attached
a minor league team,
like a minor league football team. Yeah, it would be so much more successful.
Right.
Than if it was what it is, which is like, we're an independent league. No one cares.
No one cares. And part of me says, how good would that be for the NFL to say, okay, I've got these young players, I'm going to throw them to this league for the spring or for the summer, and let them develop.
Ain't that the truth? Like, I just drafted this little. Maybe we move the draft up a little bit and say I just drafted this quarterback.
Right.
Yeah, why is the draft in April? Can we move the draft to just after the Super Bowl, please?
I don't even know.
Like, it's stupid that it takes us long. Anyway,
we got to have the combine.
You draft and then you throw what's it called? Then you say like, okay, I'm gonna put my draftees in the XFL league for a little bit.
Right.
And that way you can clear their health and everything like that before they ever get to your team.
The only reason I can think of why the draft is so late is because the combine is later, right? Late February. Yeah. Because they trying to give some of those players a chance to rest or recover from the season, so they'd be at their best. I kind of get that, but it's weird to me. I don't know. Yeah. And then I don't know. Why isn't the NFL draft in late August, just before we go to camp? Boom. Whatever. You could have it a lot of different times. I don't know. Let's move. So NASCAR. Not that we're interested, but Joey Logano wins the NASCAR Ambetter Health 400 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. He passed Brad Keselowski on the final lap to win. Just throwing that out there for you NASCAR fans, just so we don't alienate all the people in Alabama.
Have we ever had any specific requests to talk about NASCAR?
No, not yet. But we're doing it. I don't want to alienate all the people down in the South.
Okay.
Right? All the moonshiners.
Yeah. Didn't know if it was a request.
I'm just throwing out the winners. That's all I'm doing. And you know what? Yeah, whoever wins that race, I'm throwing it out. It's 10 seconds we're losing. It's fine. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, kind of. We'll talk about it if it gets interesting. But let's talk about Formula One. Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Red Bull's Sergio Perez won the pole on Saturday after teammate Max Verstappen's car had some transmission issues. Verstappen started 15th. But in an uneventful race relay on Sunday, Perez led most of the race after Fernando Alonso took the lead right off the start. But eventually Perez recovered it and won his 5th career Formula One GP. Verstappen was second for the second race in a row. Aston Martin's Fernando Alonso finished third. Lots of issues for McLaren in this one still. McLaren seems to hasn't figured this out. Piastri's car was not terrible, but Lando Norris, in the pits, he was in the pits 4 times in the first race, and he was back in the pits in this one. And I mean, just all kinds of issues. McLaren's not looking great.
Can't figure it out.
Yeah, they can't figure it out.
They just can't figure it out.
And no one, doesn't matter which team you are, they can't match the pace of either Red Bull car.
Either
one. Yeah. I mean,
well, we've talked about that. Why are you not doing for one car what you do the other car? So it tracks that it's the whole team, right?
Yeah. They're awful.
The whole
good.
team is doing well.
Yeah.
Right. They're not awful good. They're unreal.
They're unreal good. Yeah. Exactly. It's worth
this sort of
investigating.
dominance. And again, not until you have any sort of reason to. Maybe when you're doing your pit lane inspections, you're given a closer glance. But it's not. Right. You're not saying anything. You're not making anything. I wouldn't. But it's so much better.
Yeah, they're way better.
I don't know how you look at that and go, if this was a football player who played this well, he would get randomly drug tested the next day.
Absolutely. Right.
Maybe the FIA needs to do random car audits.
They probably do.
I say random.
They probably do already, but
they're supposed to inspect the cars before each race.
Right.
Before each qualifying, and then again before each race.
The next race is the Formula One Rolex Australian Grand Prix.
It's my favorite race.
Right, in Australia. So it happens on April Fool's Day, by the way. The race, and then qualifying is March 31st. So that's a couple weeks out. But
how many hours ahead is Australia? Do you know offhand?
Nope, I can't tell you.
He's
but
not really sure.
The race, according to this on the F1 website, the race starts at 2200, which is 10 o'clock p.m. Which obviously isn't 10 there.
Plus 18 hours.
So 18 hours ahead of 10 a.m. is what?
Right.
12 makes it 10 p.m. That's not right.
Right.
That can't be right. This is 10 p.m. Sorry, 10 a.m. plus 6. So 4 in the afternoon is what time the actual race is in Australia.
Okay.
And
I'll be in Munich when the race happens, trying to watch it.
Right.
And I'll be 8 hours ahead. So the race will only be 10 hours ahead of me.
And so for all you Back to the Future people, the race is on April 2nd. You're going to watch it on April 1st. FYI.
It's a full day ahead. That's right.
Correct.
I don't know why that just blew my mind.
You're going to watch a race whose date is April 2nd, 2023 on April 1st. Just FYI.
Wait. I am so Oh, this sucks.
Right?
The race is at 10 p.m. our time.
Our time on the 1st.
Which means that me in Germany, I get to watch a race at 6 a.m.
Yeah, but I mean, you'll be up.
Great.
You'll be up anyway.
I was so excited to get closer to the race. And somehow I managed to make it worse.
It is. Only this race, only this one. I mean, if it had been in Saudi Arabia, you'd be right there. But
I know, but god dang it. Like, can I please watch a race at a decent time?
No.
Other than the American races?
I don't know.
And if we didn't have one race every 2 weeks, this wouldn't be a problem.
That's the problem early in the season is there's that. So I mean it's gonna start leveling itself out, right?
Yeah.
Azerbaijan. No, that's not necessarily true either. The early season has a lot of gaps in it. It does. You don't race every week, so there's that. But anyway. F1 so far, Red Bull's dominating. Max Verstappen got the fastest lap on the last lap or next to last lap of this race to steal a point and basically take the lead from Sergio Perez, which may or may not have been team orders, because when Max asked about it and said, who's got the fastest lap, they said, we're not concerned about that. And he said, I am. So it's interesting. And also, Max made the statement, I'm not here to finish second.
Yeah.
So, I feel like he's becoming the driver you don't want to like real fast. So.
But this is how there are people out there that can see it. I mean, there's no doubt he's talented, right? There's no doubt.
Absolutely.
No one debates it.
Nope.
Every Lewis Hamilton fan who says he's not talented,
you're wrong.
Is an idiot. They're so biased they can't get over it.
Denial,
but every Max Verstappen fan that refuses to admit that he's a spoiled little asshole who's a little dangerous, they're in denial about it. He's right, and he's in that middle ground. But he's starting to become vocal. You're starting to hear audio clips. He's starting to become like, well, I'm not talking to Sky News because they don't talk about me well. It's honestly, we're not going to make it too political, but it's very Donald Trumpy with like, well, if you're just going to lie about me, I'm not going to talk to you.
Right. It's fake news.
It's like, it's fake news. Like, it's so tough. And now, don't get me wrong, the Drive to Survive, they cut and edit everything to make it super dramatic.
They do.
So
it's weird.
I actually don't really. I watched most of the season and I was like, eh.
I like watching the stuff, the inside things, but when you watch the race parts and things, it's not even. Some of it's not even the race. It's like qualifying or whatever.
They'll pull audio from qualifying and put it over the race. So
weird.
I'm with you. I like watching like the little behind the scenes tours or when they're goofing around on the tracks. That sort of stuff is cool.
Yeah.
Or when there was a couple years ago where they were like doing walkthroughs of like an engineering facility. Like, oh, that's really
that's really neat.
But he's getting. It is becoming harder and harder to defend Max Verstappen's character.
It's
not his driving ability, just his character.
It's just this side of intolerable, his behavior. Just this side. You know what I mean?
If he wasn't winning, he would be a spoiled brat.
He has become the Dallas Cowboys.
That's the way it would seem. Oh yes, he's become the Dallas Cowboys. Too big, too fast, too loud.
I am the best.
And not only that, you hear Max.
Right.
And then you start to hear Joss. When you hear Joss,
you
go, "Oh my freaking god, this guy!"
I know, right?
And then, I definitely think Toto Wolff is a sassy man.
He is,
but I don't. But I think he's.
He knows.
I think he's on the nose though. When he makes a joke, he's not veiling anything. He's saying the joke.
But he knows when to do that. It's not like he just comes off the cuff.
You think he's got more tact?
Correct.
Than Christian Horner.
Yes. I think he does. Christian Horner is cheeky British in that he says things with a double entendre, or it's got a meaning, or it's got a hidden whatever behind it, and Toto's German, so he doesn't. I mean, it is
pointed.
Yeah, it is what it is. But I think
when he says it,
I think pointed, Toto, when he says something, there's thought behind it, and not just throwing crap out there and hoping that someone believes it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know that's true either. So,
did you hear Christian Horner's comments about the suit and the couch?
No.
They were sitting there to do the interview, and one of the pit reporters asked him if despite they're having all this success, were they really hampered by the cost hits and the penalties and the fines? And he said, like, well, we're sitting on these beautiful new couches, and I see Tom's got a brand new suit over there. And it's like, oh, come on, man.
Right.
And like, you're trying to say that the FIA just spent the money on couches and suits.
Right.
I mean, that's what you're getting at. Like, I don't know. It just feels like sometimes he's very good at misdirection.
I agree.
He's a fantastic team manager.
He really is.
He makes great I very rarely ever hear Red Bull making a bad decision.
It's true. Even when they're not performing necessarily well, it's usually because there's a malfunction in the car. It's not because of strategy.
Very rarely on track stuff.
Yeah, not normally. So there's that. Anyway.
I think if I want to win, I'm still trying to hire Christian Horner.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if heart wise, I like Toto Wolff more. But I think Christian Horner's going to get you to a better place faster.
And let's be honest, we all want Gunther Steiner to be great. Because
I don't like him that much.
I do. Gunther is like the classic.
He's all right.
He's funny.
He's a goofball, and is he German also?
Yes.
He's German also, so he's a little pointed when he talks, and I don't always love it. I don't know. I'm not a huge Gunther fan.
I like him. His team's terrible.
I'm like 60% on Gunther.
But his team is terrible, and he still has a good sense of humor about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know how he still has a job.
I really don't. I mean, they must be.
He's managed underperforming teams for 6 or 7
But
years.
they
I don't
must.
get it.
But maybe they're better than they should be. Maybe those teams are actually better than they actually should be. I don't know.
Possible, yeah.
I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know what their expectations were for the team, and maybe he's exceeding them, and that's why. But I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's funny to watch. You know who I'm rooting for? Fernando Alonso. I'm just gonna root for Fernando Alonso all season because
I'm not a huge Fernando Alonso fan either, but I'm happy to see him get a little resurgence
yeah,
in his career.
it's cool.
I don't have any problem with it.
Yeah, he's doing great. You saw last year when he was with Alpine that his car, he was fast, even an Alpine
he was doing
car.
something right.
Yeah, the Aston Martin's a better car, right?
Yeah.
Despite how Lance Stroll drives
because if you ask Red Bull, it's a Red Bull.
That's true too.
Because if you ask Christian Horner, he'll make some snarky joke about,
Yeah.
well, we've got 3 Red Bulls on the podium.
Yeah, it's funny. All right. Let's talk about a few. What?
Side note, did you see the video of the Mercedes posted of it's like a camera walking downstairs and then George Russell sitting on the couch polishing his Saudi Arabian trophy, and the cameraman runs over and takes it from him, puts it in the car, seatbelts it in, puts the Silverstone address in their GPS, drives to Silverstone where the Aston Martin headquarters is, and then puts it on a shelf there.
It's funny.
They actually made a whole video of him taking it from George Russell.
That was a weird situation, was it not? Hey, this is the ruling. Okay, now where there's a penalty. So now you're going to win. Oh, but we're going to appeal it. Okay, well, you can have it back.
Well, I mean,
it was weird.
I don't disagree with the appeal
right.
and changing it if you believe that you were incorrect in it.
Correct.
But I don't believe you were incorrect in it. So I don't get why you changed it.
I don't know. I don't.
But
what they've done
it doesn't really matter.
But what they've done is also set a precedent for, hey, the future penalty pit stops, you can have your jack touching the car right now.
Put the jack on the car because
absolutely
this is not a penalty, and it's very well known now.
Right. So now we've got we've gained a second, right?
They issued, I haven't read it yet, but they issued a memo today or yesterday about rule clarifications as it relates to not only when they have to report penalties, but about that penalty in particular.
This is the second week in a row that a person has got a penalty while serving a penalty.
Good. Maybe they're trying to crack down on it.
Esteban Ocon did it last week, or 2 weeks ago. Anyway,
but his penalty wasn't
he was speeding.
The pit lane, right?
Yeah, he was speeding. Yeah. His was clear, and I get it, but still, a penalty is a penalty, and so he's coming in to serve his 5-second penalty, and he sped down pit lane, which gave him a 10-second penalty. I'm like, really? How many things can go wrong? But that's all on you if you're not driving the right speed. I swear there's a button. You just hit the button, right, and it takes you to pit speed. I'm pretty sure that's true.
It caps you.
Right,
so
caps you.
You can't go above
pit
speed. But
if you're already doing it,
he hit it too
late.
He hit it too late.
Right. If you're if you pass the line and you haven't hit the button yet, then yeah, you're screwed.
Also, how are you going to penalize Fernando for being too left on the grid?
Yeah, that's weird.
Unless you can try and tell me there's a distinct advantage to being a little left versus on the marks.
I mean,
I don't know. I feel like that was a strange way to do it.
It is, but if the rules are you got to be in the lines, you got to be in the lines.
That's true.
Yeah.
If that's what the rules are, but why?
But why? Right? Why is that the rule? Yeah. That's
can
the
we
question.
make them a little wider so
right?
You can
a little
kind of
leeway.
Because it's very tight to the car.
It is. It's like you got to be perfect.
These are professionals.
It's true.
These are professionals. You've been doing this for years.
Sure.
Fernando, you have no excuse for not hitting that mark.
Your 3-inch error cost you 5 seconds, dude.
But it didn't cost him a win.
No, but it didn't cost him anything, really. He finished right where he was going to finish anyway. Let's talk about more stuff. We're just going to move right on. The Oregon Ducks ended their season, by the way, with a loss to Wisconsin in the NIT, 61-58. It's a game that Oregon was ahead in. Had an 8-point lead at one point in time in the second half. But Wisconsin seems to be the Achilles heel of Oregon no matter when they play them. It's just
they played them 5 times in the last 20 years in the postseason.
Isn't that weird? How two teams can just kind of I don't know. I feel like the NCAA tournament people did that on purpose, but this is the NIT people, right? They're totally different, right? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know if they're different.
I don't know.
Be the same people.
It might be the same. We don't know for sure. We also in the Sweet 16. It includes 2 number 1 seeds and 2 number 2 seeds, as East number 1 seed Purdue lost to Fairleigh Dickinson in the first round, and South number 2 Arizona lost to Princeton in the first round. Then Princeton went out and beat number 7 Missouri, so they're in the Sweet 16. This is the highest seed in the Sweet 16 in a while. Princeton is traditionally a very good basketball team. Should they have beaten a number 2 and a number 7 seed? Probably not. But there they are. It's also a weird tournament, seeing some of the traditional blue bloods not in the Sweet 16 or not even in the tournament. Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, none of those are in the Sweet 16. That's weird.
Oh, wow.
Kansas.
Yeah, it's strange.
Kansas is not in the Sweet 16 now, right? Because they lost to Arkansas. It's really strange. Those are 4 teams. If any NCAA tournament happens and you told me Duke, North Carolina, Kentucky, and Kansas, none of them are going to be in the Sweet 16, I would bet against that 100% every time. But that's this year.
Yeah. It's been a weird year, but I like it.
It has, and I do. I like the weird stuff, and it's true. But Alabama and Houston are still your number 1 seeds left. And then you have teams like Tennessee. Tennessee has a chance to win because of all the chaos, right? They beat Duke to get into the Sweet 16. There's a lot of teams still in there. UCLA is the lone Pac-12 team left. They're going to take on Gonzaga tomorrow night. That's on CBS at 6:45. The SEC still has 3 teams left. So does the Big East, which is weird. I mean, there's other the Big 12 was like the big team. They've only got 2 teams left. They were supposed to be the conference, right? The ACC, which has traditionally been the conference, they've got like team left. There's 1 team left. That's Miami. So it's interesting to watch. UCLA is a very good basketball team. I don't know if they're good enough to win this whole thing, but they are very good. So we'll see. I don't think anybody. Houston has been like the class of the NCAA kind of this season. Alabama, you could say a lot about Alabama too. I mean, if any of them were to win, it wouldn't be a surprise. Gonzaga is one of those teams that's still in there. If they can beat UCLA, they have a chance. Although I don't ever put stock in Gonzaga winning it.
Gonzaga in the tournament is a bad bet.
It's a bad bet. I mean, it just is. It has been traditionally. So, but maybe this is their year. I don't know. A lot of stuff going on in the NCAA tournament. All that stuff starts tomorrow. You'll have 4 games tomorrow and 4 games on Friday to get down to the Elite 8, which starts on Saturday. So
yeah, I think Alabama is got a good path because I think San Diego State, I think they're going to handle them, and then they're either going to get Creighton or Princeton. I think they're going to handle them.
Okay, so right now, if you got to pick one of those teams, one team that's left to win the national title, who is it?
That was fun. Houston.
Houston. All right.
Houston is a really good basketball team. I like the way they play. And I think that their setup is not easy because I think Miami is better than their 5th seeding. And then they play Xavier or Texas, who are both better than their seedings. But you only got 4 number 1 seeds. You can't just give them out to everyone.
Can't.
I think that's going to be a tough way to roll through that. But
I'm going to give you the legitimate team in UCLA that could win this whole thing.
UCLA has got a great shot. Gonzaga has a habit of disappointing me,
right?
Making me disappointed,
right?
So meaning like I want UCLA to win, they'll beat them. I want Gonzaga to win, they'll lose. So whatever it is, they're going to disappoint me.
UCLA is the highest remaining seed in the West. They're actually the highest remaining seed in the West or East. Yeah. And then then I'm going to give you my long shot, and that's going to be Michigan State. Michigan State's playing great basketball right at the moment. Beat USC to get to the second round, beat Marquette, who's a number 2 seed, to get to this point. They have a real good chance against Kansas State, and if they win that, it's the winner of the Tennessee-Florida Atlantic game.
Tennessee should beat Florida Atlantic.
Should beat.
Right. In theory, they're in a different class, but, man, been wrong before. I think Tennessee's my long shot.
That's
because I'm a homer.
And I think that's as good a choice. I think Michigan State's one of those teams where I throw the coaching factor in. Tom Izzo's been doing this forever. He knows how to win these games.
It's not his first rodeo.
No, I mean, he knows how to win these games. So, but yeah, if you told me Tennessee was going to win it all, there's a good chance of that too.
At this point, you go, okay, they're in the Sweet 16. Fair enough.
There's only, and then it's funny because there's only a couple teams in there that I look at and I go, okay, so Creighton is playing Princeton. The winner of that game probably, if Alabama wins, doesn't really have a chance, but I didn't think Princeton had a chance against Arizona or Missouri. And there they are. They beat Missouri by 15.
That's a good beat.
It wasn't just a little bit. So, you could tell me any of these teams. Florida Atlantic might be the biggest benefit from the Fairleigh Dickinson win, right? Fairleigh Dickinson beats Purdue 63-58. And then Florida Atlantic gets a gimme almost. You know what I mean? To get into the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
That's weird. And then Arkansas upsetting Kansas, right? Okay. So is Arkansas or UConn a good team? I don't really know. if any of those are any good. There's a lot of unknowns out there. Xavier in Texas, there's a 2 and a 3 that they're supposed to be there. They're supposed to be in this seed.
They should be about this spot, yeah.
But I don't know if either of them are any good. I honestly don't. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to say. I don't know that Houston I know is good. Alabama I know is good.
Yeah.
And I would go so far as to say UCLA I know is good when they play well.
If Alabama wins a title this year,
Mm-hmm.
are people going to discredit it? Say that
because of
this was a shady team,
the ongoing thing.
That's some shady coaching.
Would you?
There's some craziness. I don't know if you the problem with discrediting things is that it happened. We saw it.
Yeah.
Right. So like if they win the games, they win the games. We saw what happened.
Right.
The question becomes just whether or not they should have been playing the games.
That's the question.
That sort of thing.
Yeah. It's.
But I don't see a way that they don't. Whether or not a player should be playing or a coach should be coaching. Yeah.
And they're clearly a talented team, and they're
very good.
If they win the games, they win the games. I mean, you still got to play the team, right? They got to score points and they got to win.
Yeah.
They're doing that. Should the players have been able to play is a whole different question. That's not a your team good enough? It's a should you have been there?
I just don't want Alabama to win a title in basketball. So to have to listen to them talk about how good they are at football and basketball.
Yeah, I know. I hear you.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's because we're from.
But I do
West
love
Coast.
Looking around basketball and saying, okay, you got San Diego State in there, Princeton, Creighton, FAU.
Yeah,
like
great.
You know, these are smaller schools. A little diversity in what's it called in the 6v16. I think it's a good thing.
I like it. Yeah. Anyway, it's been a lot of fun watching. Let's talk real quick about the NBA because we can. And so most teams have 10 to 12 games left to play in the regular season. The Portland Trailblazers have quietly decided not to win anymore. So
well, they won tonight.
So and that's the thing.
And they go out and win tonight.
Right. You're like, I mean, I don't understand what just happened because they're clearly not great. The team they're missing something, right?
Yeah.
So what do? They go out and beat the Jazz on the road, 127-115. And it's a big win if you're trying to get to the playoffs. Are they?
Or if you're trying to help the Lakers get to the playoffs.
Well, that's true, too. The Lakers are winning right now.
Because if the Lakers win right now, they'll move into the 10th spot.
Yeah, the Lakers are right there right now. They're beating Phoenix, which I thought Phoenix with KD was going to be a big thing. And then all of a sudden, KD decides he's going to twist his ankle after 2 games or whatever. And so there's that.
In warm-ups?
In warm-ups. I mean, he didn't just twist it. It was in half.
I was reading about like his warm-up routine.
Yeah.
Apparently it was designed by Steve Nash when he worked at the Warriors.
Oh.
Steve Nash designed his entire warm-up routine.
Right.
Yeah. So like all of his he does these weird like one-footed shots where he'll hold the ball out in front of him and like put this right leg pointing out back behind him and he'll lean all the way to the ground, squat down, and then pop up and into a shot. Really fast, really sudden, really kind of wild. And then that's all Steve Nash stuff, like a bunch of pliability stuff.
Right.
And then he goes and rolls a foot.
And then he just
all this great strategy
my
Steve
God.
Nash put into keeping this guy great. And then he goes and rolls a foot.
It's so ridiculous. Anyway, so the Blazers are I don't know if they'll shut down Damian Lillard. He's having a great year. I don't know that they'll shut him down, but I don't know that they're good enough to win enough games to get where they
I don't know what the point of keeping him
from
available
playing
is. He can't win an MVP.
Right. Probably not.
He's not going to win the MVP this year because
No.
your team sucks hard.
Right.
You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games left. You have 10 games left on the season.
Yep.
You're 3 games back.
Yeah, you're not going to catch. You're not
out
of
of the next seed in front of you.
Because,
in front of you, not even out of the seeding spot in front of you.
You've got there's Utah, LA, and the Pelicans are all the same.
Oh, they're at 13.5. That's fair.
Yeah.
But you're 3 games out of being on these people, and you play New Orleans on Sunday, and you play a couple of them as the season progresses. It's tough.
I know,
but you can make up some of that distance. But I mean, what are you really steering towards?
But even with the win, even with the win, it snapped a 6-game losing streak, right? But they're like 3-9. 4-11, let's say, in their last 15 games. That's not going to get it done when you're doing that down the stretch, right?
Yeah.
And the only teams that you beat, other than the Jazz, were the Rockets, the Pistons, and the Magic, 3 of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah.
It's just not there. And so the question is, do you keep playing Damian Lillard? You really have nothing to win unless you think you're going to make up 3 games and get to that 10 seed. I don't think that. And then what's the point of being the 10 seed? I'd rather be in the lottery than be a 10 seed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me, but I mean, I'm not
I
calling
mean,
it a tank.
at this point, we're trying to get the lottery pick.
I think
We
that's
want
right.
Victor Wembanyama.
Sure.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
We want him, and and right now all we have to contend with is the Hornets, the Pistons, the Spurs, and the Rockets. Those are the only teams that are eliminated before us. So, just keep it going. Keep the losses coming, and let's end this sooner than later.
So Milwaukee has the best record in basketball, 51. Well, they were 51-20. I don't think it's that right now.
52-20 at
52-20.
Yep.
Yeah, they're the best record in basketball. Would you bet against them winning another title right now? Or I'm just saying, would you put them as odds-on favorite?
I don't know if I could sigh any harder.
Would you put them as odds-on favorite because of?
Here's the problem.
Yeah.
The top 4 teams in the NBA are Milwaukee by record, by win-loss percentage, are Milwaukee, Boston, Philly, and Denver.
Yeah.
2 of those teams are in the East with you.
Right.
Oh, Boston's only 2 games behind you.
But you're only going to play one of them.
A thing or here. I know, but in the
playoffs,
you should only have to play one of them. Yeah. But they're only 2 games behind you, and I don't know, man. Boston this year feels better than last year, which is crazy because they were really good last year. Philly this year feels better than last year, which is crazy because they were really good last year.
They're 9-1 in their last 10.
Yeah, they're on an absolute tear right now.
Right.
But that being said, if I'm putting money down today, I don't know that I would bet against Milwaukee to win another title. I think that they still have plenty of a shot.
So if you're Milwaukee, what you're hoping is that everything goes according to in the playoffs. Everything goes according to like it's supposed to. You're going to play Cleveland, right, in the second round after you dispatch whoever it is, Atlanta, Toronto, whoever, right? You're going to play Cleveland, who's a significant step down than Boston or Philly, right? Let's admit that. I think that Cleveland's not nearly that team that Boston and Philly are. Even though the record's not terribly different, it's enough, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so if you're going to play Cleveland, you hope you sweep Cleveland, and then Boston and Philly beat the crap out of each other for 7 games and come in limping, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that happens. Milwaukee's the favorite to win the East, and then I think they're the favorite to win the whole thing because I don't think that Denver's good enough to beat Milwaukee. I don't think Memphis is good enough to beat Milwaukee. None of those teams in the West. I really don't. So, if the Milwaukee's not going to win it, I think it has to come from Boston or Philly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be Boston that takes them down if anybody. But even then, I just wouldn't put money against them.
Yeah, I mean that
feels like a bad idea.
It just feels like losing money.
That being said, the Cleveland Cavaliers should have everyone a little nervous because there are very few teams out there with the length and speed to keep up with them.
It's true. That's a good.
Since they acquired Donovan Mitchell midseason.
Yeah.
They are a force.
Sacramento was hot too. Until they lost the last 2 games. Sacramento's a good basketball team. Just, Domantas Sabonis has been a beast this year. If you were going to throw someone in the MVP consideration, maybe he should be in there too. Although I don't hear his name. Yeah, but he's definitely really good. De'Aaron Fox is their leading scorer even, and he's good too. I don't know. I think Sacramento's, anybody in the West, those top 3 teams, and even if Phoenix were to get KD back, and I'm not sure they're going to, there's 4 teams that are probably capable. I don't think the Clippers are that team. I don't think Golden State's that team this year. So everybody after that is kind of meh, So I don't know. The West is the West. It is what it is, and Denver's your team, and all your kind of hopes are kind of pinned on Denver, or the fact that maybe Memphis gets. Ja fully playing, and should he be fully playing right now is another question. I don't know. So that's a whole nother question. Why he's back, right? He started playing again,
because he served his suspension.
He's done, right?
With time served.
Sure, I guess.
Didn't know they did that in the NBA. Time served. But I guess they do.
It's the same as it is in regular court, in NBA court. I don't know. So
like a TV show that's NBA Court, but it's hosted by Judge Joe Brown hosting.
It should be
NBA
by Shaq.
Drama.
Shaq will host it, right?
Oh, that's good.
That'd be hilarious. Judge Shaq. Yeah. I'm gonna hand out a punishment.
Judge Jet. It's Kenny the Jet.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, that's a good
Judge
one.
Jet sounds way cooler
It
than
does.
Shaq the
You're
bailiff.
not wrong.
The bailiff.
He could be the. Yeah, that's a good idea. I like it.
You think anybody's gonna mess around that courtroom with Shaq standing
No.
there?
Well, I mean, you can outrun him first of all. That's fine. You see
His knees probably are not good.
You seen the new commercial, the general commercial, where the best friend one, where he lifts the little kid up to get the cookie jar
No.
way up high. Oh my gosh, that is like the fun. He's got this little kid that is his best friend now, and he's lifting him up by like the knees, right? He's got a hold of the kid's knees, and he must be like 8, and he's lifting him up to grab this cookie jar that's way up there, and so Shaq is holding him way up in the air. It's hilarious. Anyway, I like the Shaq commercials. He does a good job. That's a funny guy. Yeah. Anyway, so there's that. Let's talk about the Major League Baseball, World Baseball Classic. We're not talking about Major League Baseball. Let's talk about the World Baseball Classic for a minute. The United States finished second. Lost to Japan in the finals, 3-2. Trey Turner and Kyle Schwarber both homered for the United States. Shohei Ohtani pitched the 9th inning for Japan and struck out Mike Trout to end the game on a pitch that was like 101 miles an hour. So it was the third win in 5 World Baseball Classics for Japan.
Right.
They're clearly the number 1 team in the world. And Shohei Ohtani has a lot to do with that. But could you ask for a better ending to the game than Shohei Ohtani versus Mike Trout? Runner on base, top of the 9th, right?
It's like it was made for TV.
Right. And Trey Turner.
Suspicious.
Trey Turner hit like 5 home runs in his last 4 games of this thing, right? He is just on fire. He was the number 9 hitter in this thing for the United States.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It's fun to watch teams play. These guys play in meaningful games, I guess, in the spring, playing for pride, I guess. But it's interesting to watch these teams, and I don't know. Should the United States be losing their own sport? Probably not. But the sport has become more international over the last 10 years, 15 years. So I don't know. Did you like watching it? Did you watch any of it? Did you enjoy it?
I watched a little bit of the U.S. Venezuela game.
Right, that one, yeah.
Venezuela. I watched a little bit of that one, and then I was at a Winterhawks game last night.
Oh.
And while we were there, we were watching the final 3 innings of the baseball game.
Right.
We had it like up on one of our phones, sitting on a little ledge.
Yeah.
So
it's next one.
It was all right. I honestly didn't even know it was going on until like I started getting like news reports about upsets.
Right.
It went so under the radar. It's a big, major international tournament with big, major players from all over the world. Just kind of under the radar.
Well, the next one's 2026.
As a matter of fact, well, that's fair. As a matter of fact, the first time I heard about it was when the player tore his patellar tendon.
Yeah.
That was heartbreaking.
And there's been some injuries. I mean, guys getting, injured in this ahead of, Jose Altuve took a shot to the hand while he was batting, got hit in the hand. And those kind of injuries affect the regular season in baseball, right? I mean, so Major League Baseball gets affected by everything that happens in this. So that's the risk reward thing. It's about playing in these games is shit can happen. So yeah. Anyway, it's exciting. It's interesting. I like it. I like this. I like the format of it. I like the way it plays. It's during spring training is kind of a weird time to have it, I guess. I mean, but what other time would you have it?
True. If you do it in the regular season, you're asking players to skip their job.
And they're having most of it. Most of it was played in Florida and Arizona, which all the players are there anyway.
Already spring training, yeah.
So it's a good.
But fun. Also, what the hell? Can we put some of these games in cities that I can go to?
That would be kind of cool, right? That would be nice.
And I guess you want to keep the weather nice.
It's true, but I mean they're playing indoors anyway.
Exactly. So put them in Minnesota.
In Florida it's outside, but in Arizona it's indoors. So Chase Field's indoors, so it doesn't really matter. Right. Last couple things we're going to talk about. The Portland Timbers now 1-3 after losing to Atlanta 5-1 over the weekend. Timbers, nothing surprises me. They have this habit of looking super ugly early and just getting better just to make it into the playoffs, right?
And then all of a sudden you're looking, I'm going, wow. They won the last 6 in a row.
Okay, so I'm not going to get all crazy about them being 1-3 or whatever it is. That's not a big deal. It'll come back around. We'll see. We'll talk more about them as the season goes on.
It'll come back around.
Seattle Kraken beat the Dallas Stars 5-4 last night in Dallas. Seattle is still in 4th place in the Pacific Division with 85 points. They currently hold the first wild card position in the Western Conference. Seattle's going to make the playoffs. I don't think I think that's a given right now. I think they're good enough. They're going to make the playoffs. The question is, what seed are they going to get? They're still bunched in there with a bunch of teams. They could move up and get an automatic bid as opposed to the wild card bid. NHL does it weird. The top 3 teams from each division get in automatically, and then there's the wild card seeding. I'm not a big fan of wild card teams just in general. I don't like the way that sounds. I don't know. To me, it seems like somebody made up crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Sounds fake.
Yeah, you guys are all in. You're a wild card, so you can still get in, right?
That's right.
I don't know. Boston Bruins have the best record in hockey, 113 points. They're on pace for a record-setting year, which brings us to the Stave & Stone Wine Estates. Oh, no, wait. I said it wrong. I say it wrong every time. The Best Slam Sports Show trivia question brought to you by Stave & Stone Wine Estates in Hood River.
I'm telling you, we should just rename it the Stave & Stone trivia question.
Just simply Stave & Stone trivia question. You know I'm gonna write that.
Stave & Stone trivia question.
I gotta write it.
When you first introduce it, you can call it by that big full proper name, but later on give it a nickname, the Stave & Stone trivia question, the S&S trivia question.
I like that. We can probably do that. I think
Something
that
yeah.
S&S. S&S wine trivia question. Got your wine?
Right.
Ready for the trivia question. Get your wine out. Get ready for the trivia question. I like that idea right there.
Not bad. There it is.
Not bad. All right. The trivia question wasn't if you remember what it was. I don't know if you remember what it was, but I'm going to tell you what it was.
Most points in the regular season.
The Boston
Most
Bruins.
team points.
Yep, are on pace to set an NHL record for points in a season. What team holds the record for an 82-game season, which is the current length of the season? And which team holds the record overall? Do you have an answer for me?
The regular season one is the Red Wings, right?
For an 82-game season.
Is that right?
Yes, that's the Red Wings. What year?
Yeah. I don't know. It popped up. So it popped up on one of the Bruins broadcasts I was watching.
Okay, good enough.
So that's why I know. That's why I know it was the Red Wings, but I had no clue when from.
That's the 05-06 Detroit Red Wings. They had 124 points, and by the way, they lost in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah,
they had the best record ever.
Good God!
And they lost to the first round.
We can only pray the same thing will happen to the Bruins this year. I
know
we have Bruins fans in
the other team
audience, but
the other team has the number 1 overall in terms of points scored in a season.
Oh, jeez. All right, I don't.
Okay.
But let's go with. Wait, is it a U.S. based team or a Canadian based team?
It's Canadian based.
Classic.
It is the National Hockey League, right? Not the International Hockey League.
What's the team that's? I don't know. Let's go with Calgary.
It's the Montreal Canadiens.
All right. So you heard me start to say and I was saying what's the team that's just named after the people?
The Canadiens. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
That's
I was like, nah, that's probably not it. And then I went with Calgary.
That's the 76-77 Montreal Canadiens who played a 80-game season. And they had 132 points. And they won the Stanley Cup that year. They averaged almost 5 goals a game. So, which is incredible. If you go look at teams at 3.5 is probably a great number for a season. They averaged almost 5 goals, like 4.9 for a season. That was a really good team. Anyway, so there's your Stave & Stone trivia question answer for today. All right, pretty cool.
We won.
We're pretty excited about it. I mean, there's worse things. Right? It's the jazzy out.
This is my favorite.
Is it really?
I love this one. Yeah. It's
pretty cool. The problem is it's short. It's a timer, so we end up talking and it goes over, and then I gotta hit the button again. Not that that's the end of the world, but I'm just saying we got it short. We're gonna have to lengthen it out because you made it for me to be a certain period of time, and I had to time my exit, and I never do it because it's gonna end right here.
And then you start again.
Oh yeah.
Or then you go to the other one.
Well, we could do that, or I've got another. So I've got that one, and I've got this one.
That's a fun one too.
The jazzy.
I don't like that one as much as the baseline one with the little organ. That's the one.
You like this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's pretty cool. I don't know if it's jazzy enough to intro like we did today. That's the thing.
I don't think so. I don't think it has enough energy for introduction.
It needs a pop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got that
this
moment.
This is very slow and subdued.
Right. I don't know. Everybody, you can send us an email and let us know what you think. But because that one we used to start today, but this is the normal, which has that.
I love that one.
Hey, we're coming in hot.
I like that one.
It's a good theme.
We'll be on the hunt for a new intro song, but I do like that outro song with the bass.
So we'll go back to it. Anyway, all right, we're on YouTube every week. We're on Twitter at Lamb Sports. We're on Facebook under the Best Lamb Sports Show. You can email us, lambsports@gmail.com. And don't forget to check out our webpage, which is lambsports.com. I want to thank the ESPN, Fox Sports, NBC Sports, ABC Sports, CBS Sports, NBA, NFL, NCAA, NHL, XFL, Formula One. Did I miss anybody? Probably not. And of course, our sponsors, The Range and I don't think I did. I don't know. And of course, our sponsors, The Range in Yakima, Boss Kitty Yarns, and Stave and Stone White Estates and Hoodie Room. We never did mention Best Kitty Yarns, by the way. Boss Kitty Yarns, yarns so boss you'll knit your pants. Go on the website and get a gift card. Anyway, that's my short ad for them. We just kind of skipped over it because we're short of time. Anyway, so next week we'll talk more about Major League Baseball a little bit. It's getting close to opening day, which is exciting. We're going to talk about the NBA as we approach the playoffs. We're going to talk about the NHL as we approach the playoffs. We'll talk about the Final Four in the NCAA tournament, which will be set by then. Anything else? Any NFL news that comes up? We'll talk about XFL Week 6. There's only 10 weeks in the XFL, so who knows? I'm really not interested in it, but I got to keep reporting it, so just for whatever reason, right? I don't know, just to keep continuity. Anyway, we'll have all that and more. Again, we'll have another trivia question. It'll probably be football related since we had about 16 questions pop up while we were talking about it today. Anyway, thank you everybody for listening. This has been a Brain Rock production, a division of Lonely Tree Media, LLC. I want to thank you for listening. We'll see you all next week.